I'm glad the NCAA is really locking in and focusing on the big problems with college football. The same principle here, it applies. It's not about the money for me. It's about getting exposure, and that's worth more than the money. Of course, all these D1 athletes, they want to believe they're worth $40,000 or $50,000 to be put into the game, but that's just not realistic. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope all of you are having a great and fantastic Friday. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. And man, oh man, we got some stuff to talk about. The college football world is going crazy, and it's for multiple different reasons. And one of those reasons being no other than the controversial topic of the news that just came out about college football players are officially going to be paid $600 to be in the new EA Sports game. That has been stirring up a storm all over social media. We're going to talk all about that, but also the NCAA, they're cracking down on recruitment. Or not really recruitment, that was a bad way to say it, my apologies. They're more so of cracking down on recruitment visits. There we go. And oh yeah, how can I forget to mention that the CFP committee is already talking about expanding to a 14-team playoff. What about that? It's been a minute since these words that came out of my mouth, but we got a jam-packed video. Strap in, buckle up, get your snack, get your popcorn, get your favorite meal you like to eat when you watch a video, because trust me, I do the same thing. But alright, man, blah, blah, shut the crap up, without further ado, let's get it. Alright, first things first, where do we want to start off? You know what, let's just get this out of the way because I don't want to spend too much time talking about it. We reported on this about roughly 4 to 5 days ago about there being rumors and speculation that the CFP committee is already talking about expanding the playoff. Well, now if you want an official report, I'll show it to you right here. According to ESPN, the CFP committee has been talking about expanding to not a 16-team playoff, but a 14-team playoff, which is just, in my humble opinion, even a crazy conversation I ought to be having. And I'll explain why. It's relatively simple, and I think most of you know what I'm about to say. We haven't even had one freaking year of the 12-team playoff. Why are we talking about expanding and going to a new format? It's so blasphemous for me, and I don't even know how to try to relate this and give you an example in your everyday life. I guess the only analogy I could give you is this is dang near the equivalent to buying a brand new car, and before you even drive the car, you bought it, signed the papers, did all that nice stuff, and before you even step foot in it, you're already looking at new cars to buy. Like, what? And let me make this clear. I am not opposed to a 14-team playoff whatsoever. I'm a guy where I'm like, hey, more the merrier. Bring it on. I am a fan of college football, and by adding more teams to a playoff, it also means more football, so that's good for me. But come on, man. Can we not at bare minimum get the 12-team playoff a couple of years before we even start discussing a new format? And I know some of you may be asking the question, well, Matt, why are they talking about expanding it? And it's relatively simple. I'm not going to play dumb or act dumb for you guys. This all comes down to one thing and one thing only, and it runs our lives. Money. Said it before, I'm going to say it again, money runs the world. The quicker you realize that, the quicker everything else in this life will start to make sense to you. Because think about it, let's be rational here. Why else would you already be talking about leaving the 12-team format? You don't even know if it works or not. That's all I'm going to say about it for now. At the current moment in time, these are all just discussions and nothing serious is unfolding. But if something serious does unfold, I'll keep you guys updated, so stay tuned for that. Moving along to our second topic here, take a look at this. The NCAA recently sent out an email that states that schools can no longer decorate prospects' hotels room on official visits. For those of you that don't know exactly what this is referring to, for all of these 4- and 5-star recruits whenever they visit Texas, Ohio State, Michigan, USC, when they get into their hotel room, there's a ton of goodies for them. And when I say goodies, it's basically a bunch of custom cookies, cakes, Twinkie, just anything you can think of dessert-wise. In other terms, pretty much, it is snack heaven. Well, now teams can no longer do that for players, and let me know in the comment section, how do y'all feel about this? Me personally, I think it's the NCAA being petty, and they have nothing better else to do than to go after some insignificant thing that these schools are doing. I mean, seriously, what is the downside to, let's just say, Tennessee giving a recruit a cookie cake, which costs, oh, I don't know, $20, a couple Gatorades, a bag of Sour Patch Kids, and some cookies. The whole point of you doing that for a recruit is for one reason and one reason only, to make them feel at home. You want these kids to feel a warm welcome when they come to your school and university. And that is one way of doing it, but the NCAA said, no. We can't be doing all that. That's a little too crazy, man. I'm glad the NCAA is really locking in and focusing on the big problems with college football. I can already feel a rant coming, so let's get a move on to our third topic, and that is no other than the NCAA 25 game that's coming out this summer. Yesterday, it was made official, and this is relatively big-time news that starting today, which was yesterday, players can opt in to their NIL to appear in EA Sports College Football 25. Without being a nerd here in other terms, if you're a college football player, you can tell the NCAA, hey, I'm cool with you using my NIL in the game, and they'll give you $600 and a free copy of the game. And I knew when I first read this report, people were going to be losing their minds in the comment section talking about, oh, only $600? That's nothing. That's chump change. And yeah, I guess it really depends on what you're comparing it to. $600 in 2024 isn't a lot of money. But you also have to understand what's going on here. This isn't because you've done something. You haven't done anything. And the NCAA is giving you, or not the NCAA, but EA Sports, my apologies, is giving you $600 and a free copy of the game. And we all know that game is going to be $100. So really you're getting like $750 after tax. Which yet again, let me remind some of y'all, for most of these college football players, and I mean this in the most respectful way possible, they're not even worth $600. The one argument I see the most is EA Sports, they're going to make a ton of revenue and they're only giving that said player $600, so that's an insult. And here's my very simple rebuttal to everybody using that argument. EA Sports, the business, they're the ones taking the risk. This is capitalism and business 101. There's a reason the owner of McDonald's makes more than the employee. With no owner who took the risk, there is no McDonald's. And without a McDonald's, there's no employee. And also, your employees for McDonald's, whether the business fails or succeeds, they're getting paid regardless. Whereas the owner, if it works out, yeah, he's going to be a millionaire. Well, if it doesn't work out, he's going to be bankrupt. If these players don't like it, guess what? There's a reason you have an option to opt out of it. You don't got to accept the offer. Now, I don't know why you wouldn't accept to be into the game, because as a kid growing up, that was a dream of everybody's, wasn't it? To be in NCAA 13 and 14? Playing as yourself in a video game? I don't care what any of you say. That's one of the coolest things to ever have on your, I guess you say, accomplishment list. And also to go on top of that, for those people saying, oh, it's just $600, that's a very naive mindset, and I'll explain why. Yes, up front, you're only getting $600, but by you putting your name into the video game, you understand and realize not only are you growing your personal brand, but it's free advertising for your personal brand. When it comes to money, you have to have a long-term vision and perspective. And I'll give you a quick example that just came to my mind. Let's say a random player that decided to opt into the game and get the $600. Yeah, that $600 might not change his life, but what if a lot of people start making YouTube videos about him in the game and his social media blows up on Twitter and Instagram? You know what I'm talking about. If a certain player in college football has some crazy name, he turns into a big meme and everybody starts following him on the gram. Well, then when he gains all these followers on Instagram, guess what's going to happen? He's going to get endorsements, brand deals, and sponsorships. And for a lot of these college football players, a sponsorship or brand deal, it's like $20,000. And he wouldn't have got that opportunity to get that sponsorship if he wouldn't have decided to put himself into the game. And oh yeah, let me throw this in there as well. I haven't even brought this up. But these college football players, they're not even working for EA Sports. They're not working to get that $600. They're just getting a check. It's almost like the stimulus check. And I'm not trying to discredit D1 athletes, but y'all get what I'm trying to say, because they work extremely hard to get to where they're at. What I'm saying is they're not clocking into a shift. They're not flying out to EA Sports headquarters to do some voiceover for them. No, they're not doing any of that. And I'll use myself as an example, because in every situation I talk about, I try to put myself in that person's shoes. Hypothetically speaking, if EA Sports reached out to me and said, yo, Matt, we love to use your voice in the game, commentary, etc., anything involving the channel, I'd be like, heck yeah, dude, this is a dream come true. And we'll just say, since $600 is a number, that's the same thing they offer me. They say, yo, Matt, sounds good. We'll give you $600. How's that sound? The same principle here, it applies. It's not about the money for me. It's about getting exposure, and that's worth more than the money. Of course, all these D1 athletes, they want to believe they're worth $40,000 or $50,000 to be put into the game, but that's just not realistic. Because if all these D1 players decide to opt into this deal, EA Sports are going to be spending roughly $7 million. And eventually down the road, are they going to profit off of this? Yes, of course. I mean, this is the first NCAA game in 10 years. I do think they will profit. And in 5 years from now, you're going to have these athletes come in and say, oh, well, they used us, man. They only gave us $600 and they made billions or millions or whatever it is. But yet again, same principle applies here. They own the business. They own the company. On the grand scheme of things, You're just one of many of their employees. The employee has no risk associated in this whatsoever. You're getting paid regardless. And the beauty of this situation is, if you don't like it, you don't got to do it. That's all I got, but I know this is a controversial topic. Let me know your thoughts down below. But